Ladies and gentlemen, just McCormick back again with another video. This has to do with an update that I've got for Line of Scrimmage, a simulation football game that I've got going on. And the reason I call it simulation football is because the fact that with everything that's been going on with, say, video game football for the past few years, there just isn't a good product that I feel like replicates football the way it should be played. And so I decided years ago to create this game, and I'll give you a few of the updates that I made last time, and I'll give you the one major update this time, which has to do with the Alliance of American Football League that has come out in 2019. Now, let me first get to how this game works. You've got 3 dice for each team, and what's going to happen is each team is going to use these dice to try and advance the football or prevent the other player from advancing the football. The 20-side die here is strictly used for the referee, and I'll get to that more in a moment. Now, the game basically runs off a 3 dice versus 2 dice setup, with 3 dice being used maximum by the offense, while 2 dice maximum used by defense. What this creates is an odds versus numbers game, to where the defense has more chances with odds, giving you the opportunity for things like fumbles, sacks, for also interceptions and things like that. The offense basically is just trying to gain yards and trying to break tackles. So that's how that works there. Basically, football normally starts with a kickoff, and then after the kickoff, normal play resumes with every down being played there. 1st and 10 and so on. So 3 dice will be rolled by the kicking team, and then after that, this will determine how far the ball goes. For example, if this was a roll, the ball would go 60 yards plus the 11 here, which would make it a 71-yard kick from the spot, or possibly a 58-yard kick, like shown here. Then after that, wherever the ball lands, the team that returns it's going to roll 3 dice at first to determine how far they move before they meet tacklers, and then it's going to be 2 dice versus 2 dice to determine where the ball goes from there, with the ball carrier having the opportunity to return it back for a touchdown. Now, normal play starts when when the ball carrier gets tackled, and we go into normal play calling. I don't have my play sheet out because I'm not going to go over that, but you'll basically call plays, and that will determine how the 2 teams match off against each other, and then they will roll to see who gets the advantage, and they will advance the ball back and forth, trying to score points and everything. The same mechanic used for kickoffs is also used for field goals in this game, but I will not go into any of that in depth today because of the fact I've already done that. So, the referee die here is the 20-side die, and that's going to be used to call penalties every single play. If a penalty occurs, you check the rules, and that determines what happens on that. So, let's go into what the new rule changes and things are. Now, for example, here, I'm going to mark this here. That's going to be the dot there. It's going to mark at the 40-yard line. One of the first things I implemented here is the inches mechanic, which basically means that if you go from the 40-yard line, you land on the 50 here, you're going to roll the dice, and that's going to determine if the ball made it across the line or if it was just inches short. This is also used at the goal line to determine if there was a touchdown or not. There's also a yard for yard mechanic, which basically means if, say, this team has the football and they roll a 6 they're going to break a tackle, and that's going to create the yard-for-yard mechanic, which then is going to allow both teams to roll against each other to determine how far the ball carrier is going to go before he either scores a touchdown or is tackled by the defense. And normal rules will apply there, where the defense rolls higher to make the tackle. Basically, what's going to happen is both teams are going to fight for possession and try their very best to try and outdo the other. Most points wins the game, as does in normal football. Now, some of the rule changes that I had in this game are as follows. I added what's known as the sideline catch and dragging the feet, which basically means that if you're trying to keep the clock from being run down, you can roll a number of dice, either 2 dice or 3 dice, on your pass plays, and if the ball is caught, then you can choose to go out of bounds at that location, and that is going to stop the clock in certain later intervals in the game. Now, the dragging the feet mechanic is used when you're using the sideline catch and you catch the ball in the end zone using the mechanic. This also has to do with the inches mechanic, as if you were to catch the ball on the back part of the goal line, say for instance, the goal line is 10 yards deep, or if you're on the goal line, you throw a pass and it goes 10 yards, you can use both the dragging the feet and the inches mechanic to determine whether you were inbounds or not. And the referee die basically is going to be the one that determines that. If there are odd players in this game, one player plays one team, one player another, and the odd player gets to be the referee. Now, moving on to the new things, I added the Alliance of American Football rules changes to Line of Scrimmage to also give the ability to be able to play that game with Line of Scrimmage. Now, I'll go over the rule changes that they implemented and how they affect this game. So, I have not gone into any of the plays and made alterations to the plays, so on that level there could be some differences there. However, I have made the rules changes to be able to implement the AAF into Line of Scrimmage. Now, the first one is that there are no kickoffs in the AAF. Basically, the ball is going to start here at the 25-yard line when a team gains possession, and then they're going to go from there as normal football proceeds. After a touchdown, also, the team that scores is going to have the ball placed at the 2-yard line, and they're going to try to score a 2-point conversion. There are no field goals for the extra points in the AAF, and there are also no field goals in overtime, but I'll go over that later. Next, since there are no kickoffs, there's no onside kicks. So basically, if an onside kick would occur, instead of doing that, the team's going to choose to say they want to try and attempt to get the first down, or they want to attempt to get the ball back. So the ball's going to be placed at the 28-yard line, and they're going to try to make it past the 40. Now, if they can, they're going to have 4th down and 12 to do this. So if they can convert, this will allow them to keep the football. This is where the inches mechanic comes in, to where if the ball lands on the 40-yard line and that's where the ball carrier is tackled, they will check to see if he made it or not. Now, if a safety occurs and the team that created the safety wishes to keep the ball, they will have the same situation, except it's on their own 18-yard line with 4th and 12. Now, there's that. In overtime, each team gets one possession and they have to try and score. And how that happens is it's going to be 1st and goal on the 10-yard line in overtime. and they've got the 4 downs to try and score a touchdown. And then also, as I stated earlier, there are no field goal extra points, so they have to go for 2 in the AAF. So in this game, if one team scores a touchdown, they have to go for 2, and then the other team will get the ball on the opponent's 10-yard line, and they'll try and score from there. The only other thing is that the game can end in a tie, so there's that. The one change that I made to this game is that during a penalty, if, say, the number 12 is rolled, then this has been changed to what is known as illegal defense. Illegal defense basically means that no more than 5 players can blitz the quarterback at any one time. If those 5 players all blitz the same side of the formation, or a 6th man or more blitzes, then it creates an illegal defense penalty. It's a 15-yard penalty, and I've given them a first down on that just because. The only other rule change is that there are only 2 challenges per team per game, with no bonus challenge being issued at any point. If there is an odd player in this game, the odd player will get the chance of not only just being the referee, but the AAF created what's known as the Sky Judge, which basically is the referee that looks onto the field from the booth and allows him and the referees to be able to pull their resources together to make the best calls on the field. Now, in my game, the Sky Judge will use this 20-side die. I've given the Sky Judge these 2 abilities, but as always in this game, the result of a play cannot be overturned unless the die roll value is 15 or higher on this die. In that instance, the play on the field will be reversed. Otherwise, the field call will stand. Now, the Sky Judge has 2 powers in this game. The first one is that any penalty that's called can be reversed to a no penalty and vice versa. This cannot be used more than twice per half of play, meaning the first half you can do it twice, second half twice. This cannot be used on penalties that range anywhere from 1 to 10, as the penalties that range 11 to 20 can be reversed, and they can be reviewed. The Sky Judge also, during the last 5 turns of the half or the game, can review any play that uses the inches mechanic, dragging the feet mechanic, or the sideline catch mechanic. And so the Sky Judge, once he makes that decision, those decisions are final, and that they cannot be challenged or reviewed in any other way. No. And those are the changes that I made to Line of Scrimmage. I appreciate you guys watching. I thank you very much. If you guys have any questions or anything, feel free to comment below. If you guys like it, leave a like. And I appreciate everything y'all do for me. Y'all have a great day, and God bless.